Joining today for Department of Aid, Trade, Consumer Protection, it's our friend Lars Sutherland. Welcome back to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Jeremy. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. And today we're going to tackle student loan debt forgiveness and scams because it changed. And that is about the hardest thing here is it keeps changing. And we want to keep it in the forefront because we want to make sure people do understand this. We talked about it last time with you because you had a class going on or an informational session and other things, but it's changed yet again. So update us where we're at today with the student loan forgiveness.
Yeah, so you're right. It's changed again, and it's really important. And I'm glad that you're covering this because when it changes and when there's confusion, that is when scammers really take advantage of consumers. So let's first talk about what's real and where you can get good information and then how to avoid scams. So what is real is that they have extended the repayment of federal student loans again through December 31st, 2022. So that means on January 1st of next year, folks are going to be required to repay their federal student loans. And they have said that this is the last time they're going to extend it. Now, you chuckle, but they have not said that before. So every other time I've said they're extending it, but you never know, they might do it again. This time they have articulated they're not going to do it again. So we're going to take them at face value, which means folks need to pay attention about how to do this. You know, lots of people have paused their student loans, but even more have started taking out loans during this forbearance period, which means they've never paid them back, which means this is all new to them. So really, really important to get on top of it, to understand where you can get trusted sources of information about how to pay things back. There's a fair amount of relief out there available to people, and not knowing where to get good information can run you into some trouble with scammers pretty quickly. So that's the repayment period is starting on January 1st. The other big news, which is probably even bigger, is the amount of forgiveness that the Biden administration has extended to student loan debtors. And that is $10,000 will be forgiven for debtors who earn $125,000 or less annually. So a significant amount of relief that is out there for people. And this is important because a lot of consumers or student borrowers rather actually fall into default for just very little amount of money, under $10,000. I know a lot of people have hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of loans, but if you look at the data, a lot of the student borrowers who are in default are those that have $10,000 or less. They've gone to tech colleges, they've gone some to the for-profit universities that have gone under, and they're carrying very little debt loads, but it still has ruined their credit, making it difficult for them to get jobs and cars, etc. So this is some real relief for people. Income-driven repayment plans also were previously capped at 10%, and now they're going to be capped at 5%. And so income-driven repayment plans come in all shapes and sizes. This is the kind of thing that you should really call people and find out which one you qualify for. But this is a big difference in the discretionary income. Going from 10% down to 5% can be real savings for consumers. The amount of income that's considered non-discretionary will be raised, meaning a borrower making roughly $15 an hour or less will need to make monthly payments. So that's important in terms of this loan forgiveness. And unpaid monthly interest and income-driven payments plans will be covered, meaning that no borrower loan balance will grow as long as they're making their monthly payments. And that's important because sometimes your income level means that you're making a payment of zero, but interest won't compound. So that's really important for people to understand. Borrowers with original loan balance of $12,000 or less will have their remaining balances forgiven after 10 years of repayment, replacing the current 20-year policy. So folks who have been diligently paying for 10 years are going to see those loans go away if it's $12,000 or less. So lots of relief and forgiveness. I don't expect you to remember all of that. It's a lot of information. You can go to the Department of Education's website and read all about this information in detail. But Jeremy, the other really important thing people should know about is a deadline that's coming up October 31st. And this is around the public service loan forgiveness program. So public service loan forgiveness is loan forgiveness for people who are working in public institutions. So federal and state government positions are going to be public service, obviously tribal or local government, all public service, lots of nonprofits, the military, all of those types of jobs qualify for public service loan forgiveness. And what this means is if you have held one of these jobs for 10 years and you've been making your payments as required under the plan, your loans can be forgiven. Now, of course, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but as a general matter, if you're in a public service position, you should absolutely look into how you qualify and what you need to do. And the deadline for applying for public service loan forgiveness is October 31st, 2022. So let me say that again. The deadline for applying is October 31st, 2022. So next month. The deal is a lot of these the new program is including more jobs than originally was included in the plan. And so some people have not yet enrolled in this program. So they can get credit towards their eventual forgiveness for payments they've already made. But again, they need to enroll in the program before October for those payments to be credited towards their eventual forgiveness. The plan is going to be there after October. You can enroll after October. The significance of the October deadline is that it allows you to incorporate payments that you've already made while you weren't enrolled. Again, complicated information that I don't expect everybody to remember. But what I do want to say is here in Wisconsin, we have this great resource, which is a student loan debt hotline that you can call and get your questions answered. So I'm going to give that to you now. It's 833-589-0750, 833-589-0750. And that student loan hotline was created by the Wisconsin Coalition on Student Debt, along with Ascendium, and it is staffed by Ascendium loan service experts. You will have a private, confidential conversation about your loans with an individual. None of it will be recorded, and you can get real information that you can trust. And that's super important because there's a lot of misinformation out there, inaccurate and nefarious and false. And so you really need to go to these sources that you can trust.
Yeah. And like you said, it's a lot of information, so certainly we don't expect you to remember it all. We definitely got some graphics up on the screen here and all that, but as you said, there's plenty of resources out there too through DATCP's website and the Bauer too. And I'm sure I'm interrupting on the scam portion of the discussion too, but it seems to be playing an important piece of this because the date has switched a few times. It could confuse people, but taking advantage of that is still happening every day, and you're seeing lots of reports still related to that, correct?
Absolutely. And here's the deal. When you're talking about, millions of dollars, which you are, there's $1.7 trillion of student loan debt nationally. There's over 240 million in student loan debt here in Wisconsin, over 800,000 borrowers here in Wisconsin. So you're talking about a lot of affected people and a lot of money, which means a lot of scammers trying to get you to pay them and not the federal government. So look, any unsolicited information, a text, a social media pop-up, an email, a phone call that is telling you to pay them to help you navigate this space should be ignored. All of the information that I've given you today is free. You can get it from us. You can get it from the Department of Education. No money needs to exchange hands to enroll in any of the governmental programs. So if anybody is asking you to pay money, it could very likely be a scam. I mean, certainly you're entitled to pay for things that are free, but know that you could be getting it for free and you could be getting it from an entity that you should trust. There's another thing that folks should never do, and that's never share your federal student aid ID with anyone. A lot of these scammers ask for that. And the reason they do that is because they can go into your your account. They can change your information, and then all of the notifications from your account go to the scammer and not to you. So if you start paying the scammer to quote unquote pay down your loans, you've given your FSA ID account information to the scammer. They've changed your information, and they're not paying down your loans. They're keeping the money, and you're none the wiser because all the information has been diverted to them. That ID is like your social security number. You give it to no one. It's really important not to share it. A lot of times these scammers try to tell you they're partnering with the federal government and they can get you something that no one else can. That is false. Anytime you see federal government or government claims, you should ignore them and know that someone's trying to take advantage of you. There are other tips on our website, but some of you may have already felt like you've fallen for one of these scams. You've paid an upfront fee that actually is illegal in the state to pay an upfront fee for debt consolidation. If you think that you've fallen for a scam or that you may be a victim of a scam, you should file a complaint with the department. We have active investigations against some of these organizations and are happy to look into it and help you try to address that problem. And the last thing I want to say, and end it on a positive note, is there's another program that's out there available for Wisconsin student borrowers, and that's a program through the Department of Financial Institutions and an organization called Savvy. And Savvy has created a student loan repayment tool that helps consumers navigate this framework that we've just been talking about, that we can all agree is confusing. DFI, the Department of Financial Institutions, has a grant that allows consumers in Wisconsin to enroll for a year for free. So you should go to our website and you can enroll there. It's a great resource. It's a resource you can trust. It can get you the answers that you need about your loans and make sure that if you qualify for forgiveness, that you have enrolled properly, you've enrolled in the right repayment plan, all those kinds of things, and you're not sending your money away to one of those awful scammers that we love to talk about here.